that inspires you to move, what I would encourage you to do is find something that you love to do. If you go out there and you go to the gym and you start bench pressing, or you just, and then you don't like it, then you're going to end up quitting that. So what I encourage you to do is find something that you enjoy doing and create a pattern in your life of doing exercise. And for most people, that can be as simple as walking outside for 45 minutes every day when the sun is setting, breathing in fresh air, and you'll feel amazing at the end. It's a very simple practice, and I've never in my life seen anyone who was angry or upset or felt bad after a workout. They always feel amazing. Your body's just flooded with endorphins. So it's a really good way of speeding up the cleansing effect. And what I haven't talked about so far is the detox affects physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. When I moved from California to be in San Angelo, Texas, which if Santa Monica, I lived on the ocean, training celebrities, and it was an amazing relationship. And I moved to San Angelo, Texas, which is like the desert, and there's nothing there at all. And that was right whenever I started getting into raw foods, and I was going through really intense things spiritually with my relationship with my daughter, with God. Was working on my heart in a very real way. And so I decided, I was like, I'm going to do raw foods. And I do a lot of reading. I grew up without a television, so I just consumed literature. And I decided I was going to do an experiment. I was going to live with no electricity, living off-grid. And so I embraced eating 100% raw foods and living with no electricity, living off-grid for a year. And it changed my life. And so I personally, when it comes to matters of spirit and eating, I do not believe that the food that you eat makes you a more spiritual person. What I do believe is that if you cannot escape into bad food when you're dealing with something spiritual or emotional, if you cannot escape into the television, then you have to deal with what's inside of you. And that gets real. It gets real. And it got real for me, and I almost went a little crazy, and I could not rely on my own strength anymore. And I was a philosophy guy before, so my mind would always have all these arguments about God. And eventually, just through cleansing and just having nowhere to escape and just having those things come up, I had to surrender my life to God. In one night, after I felt the power of prayer with my friend one night, just completely surrendered my life to God. Said I can't do this on my own anymore, use me as a tool. And please guide me in everything I do. And it has been a journey since then. Every day is a journey. And I have, in the Bible it says there's a peace that passeth understanding. And I think I'm striving towards that, and at times I can feel that. And that's something that I'm striving towards every day. So, yeah, in matters of the spirit, like I said, cleansing, I do not believe it makes you more spiritual. But I do believe that it makes you face any spiritual things that are inside of you, and that's very real. On an emotional or psychological level, one of the best things is business people, if they do it, if you have a job, if you have a stressful life relationship, after day 3 or 4 of cleansing, there's no stress. Like, you cannot attach to stress. Like, the worst thing in the world could happen. And it's just like, it's so easy. It's just like, oh, this will happen, or it just didn't need to happen. Whereas before, you're like, how can you make this happen? Man, I'm so freaked out. I'm trying to make it happen. But it's one of the best things for the emotional states of people. It's very, very calming. It's almost like very zen, very, very fluid. Like 2 Cleanse Americas ago, I sent out a massive email to thousands of people and asked them to be a part of Cleanse America. And I only do those like once every 3 months, and it was a pretty big thing. It was my first one to do by myself. And I was on day 22 of a 29-day liquid fast. And so it was like, I was a really clear place in my head, lots of energy. And right before I sent it, there were hackers. They hacked into my Yahoo account. And they erased my entire email history. I had like letters from my mom, pictures of my daughter. And they changed all my passwords. And then they sent, every person that I sent the message to, they sent them saying, I'm in Spain, I just got robbed, and you just sent me money. And so they just like hacked into my account. And so this is right when I sent all this thing out. And then they changed my password, so I couldn't see if anyone was responding to the cleanse email. And it was just like, as soon as I realized what was happening, I was at work. I was just like, huh. And here's the interesting thing. If I had not been cleansing, I was just like, okay, just not supposed to do this cleanse. I'm not supposed to be on media. I'm not supposed to be doing any of this at all. And I just took it as a direct sign that I wasn't supposed to be doing this because this horrible thing had happened to me right when I sent out this mass email, right when it was 4 days before the cleanse. And I had to find out ways to answer all these questions. And I just sat there. I just thought, 10 minutes. It just happened. And all of a sudden, it's like I accepted it. And it was like, there was a part of my brain, because I had letters from old girlfriends and history with my mom and my daughter, and there was a part of my brain that was kind of a weight. And I didn't even know I was carrying it. But in Pilgrim's Progress, I don't know if you all are familiar with that, when it feels like a burden come off, it was like this burden just dropped away. I was like, wow, I don't have to answer hundreds of emails. I can go out and ride my bike. I got my email. And so I just like went out and rode my bike and just like accepted it, you know? But if I hadn't been cleansing, I'd been so attached to okay, this isn't working, I'm trying to figure it out. And instead of I just like accepted it, I was just like, oh. And so that's one of the benefits of cleansing. There's such a clarity of mind in every decision that you make that it changes the way you view the world. Cleansing really changes the way you view the world. And so, let me move on here. Grounding, water, movement, all those things are amazing. Meditation, I would suggest everyone in the morning doing prayer meditation. If you start your morning with that, setting intention, saying prayer meditation, if you say even 20 minutes in the morning, wake up, just sit there in silence, you can pray, you can meditate, you can create goals, strive towards those goals, that your day will be 1,000 times better. And breathing. You can do breathing exercises. Most people do shallow breath. All these topics that I'm saying in one word, like breath or meditation, that's like a discourse that could take 7 weeks to describe. So I'll just say those words and move on to the next, and we'll assume that we can understand those things at this point. What to expect while detoxing. The breakthrough day. I talked a little bit about the breakthrough day. It's whenever you wake up, and it's the best day of your entire life. And most people say, this is the best I've felt since I was 16, since I was 13, since I was 12. Just they go to that point in their life when they could just run around all day and had endless energy. And there's usually about day 4 or 5 is when that happens. And that's what I always look for. The first 4 days of Cleanse America, people are always just like, oh, I'm craving pizza, what do I do? My kids are yelling at me and they don't want to eat this banana, what do I do? Just like all these things. And then on day 4 or 5, they're like, oh, the sun is beautiful, and I love my family, and this green smoothie is so good. And it's just like a complete shift. And it's like all the detox has worked its way through, the toxins are out of your system. And what you'll find yourself doing the longer you do a detox is, if you eat something bad, that stores in your cellular memory, in your fat cells. And so some things you can release from like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when you just crave something, like, I haven't craved that in 15 years. That's because you ate that thing 15 years ago, it's releasing into your bloodstream, your body's in tune with that. And then you're just like, wow, okay, when did I have that Chinese takeout? Was that in 97? I can taste that. It's like, you can like taste it and feel it. It's like, why am I craving that? But the body is a very interesting thing. Very interesting. Fascinating. Let's see here. Okay, let's walk you through a day. Your first cleanse, all right? Walk you through a day. There's 4 basic things that I would encourage everyone in this room to do. The easiest way is to, if you want to do a juice fast, that's its own thing. That's the fastest way to detox. Doing a juice fast is really intense. It's not really in harmony with most people's lifestyles, but it's one of the most healing and beneficial things you can do. And if you can do that, it's the fastest way to detox. You'll see the most benefit from juicing. But a lot of people have to prepare meals for families, or they have jobs, or they can't afford to go through 3 days where they need to take a rest or something. So the first one is a juice, is one of the meals. The other one is a smoothie, which is just blended fruits, vegetables with a base. Difference between a juice and a smoothie is that a smoothie has fiber and a juice does not have fiber. One's blended, one's just either masticated or through a centrifuge process. The other one is monomeal. Monomeal is probably one of the easiest, simplest, most cost-effective, most healing ways you can do it. Monomeal just means eating a single thing by itself. So having 3 or 4 apples, and that's your meal. Some mangoes, some watermelon, a salad, some avocados. Like whatever it is you're craving, to have that as a meal. And the 4th thing is a salad. I love salads. I love salads with avocado. I love salads with cucumbers. I love massaging salads down. I love salads. I could live on salads. And so the other thing that I didn't mention is on the fifth meal. If someone's traveling all the time, they have a super hectic schedule. They make some amazing raw food bars. And raw food bars are nut-based. They're a little bit heavier. They're not quite as cleansing. But if you're eating, if you've been normally eating like processed foods, you just need something to transition, and you know you're gonna break the cleanse if you can't eat something, then carrying a raw food bar is very helpful for traveling, for on the road. It isn't as cleansing as fruit, as smoothies, juice, or mono meals. But if you need to do that if you're traveling, then I would suggest doing that, or like a nice raw trail mix as well. The other thing is to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. A lot of times, whenever people are starting a cleanse, they'll try to eat very little. And what I would encourage you to do, especially at the beginning, is if it's 100% raw, and it's fresh fruits or vegetables, or juice or smoothie, eat as much as you want. Literally. Like I've drinking like 3 or 4 big glasses of smoothies or juices at a time. And especially the first 2 or 3 days, because the stomach is usually filled up and then collapse, filled up and collapse. And so when you're just doing juices or smoothies, there's nothing, you have to drink a lot of juice for your stomach to be filled, like to fill it up in the same way that regular food would. So your stomach's collapsing and your body's saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. You're getting way more nutrients, way more enzymes, way more amino acids than you would normally be by eating cooked food, but your stomach isn't being stretched. So as your stomach collapses, I would encourage people just to eat as much as you want, and that will subside after the first 3 or 4 days. You'll find that you get much less hunger pangs and that kind of thing after the first 3 or 4 days. If you're doing juices or smoothies, instead of eating 2.5 to 3 hours, I would suggest doing it every about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, just because juices and smoothies, they metabolize much quicker. So it's instantly assimilated. When I eat an apple, my body has to break down the fiber, it has to break down, it's chewing, masticating. It's a process that breaks it down. When you're doing juices or smoothies, there's nothing to break down. It's already been chewed up for you, so it's just like instantly becoming a part of your body. Which then allows your body to say, okay, normally I spend 45 minutes to an 1.5 hours breaking down food and then transferring that nutrition into my body. So now what can I do? I can make my eyesight better, or I can fix adrenal fatigue, or I can regulate my blood sugar, or I can help the liver. And your body is very amazing in that way. So let's see, that's eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, and eating 1.5 hours to 2 hours if you're juicing liquids. Let's see, monomills, weight loss and cleansing. How are we doing on time? I haven't looked at time. Anyone have any questions immediately? Alright, a lot of questions on weight loss and cleansing. I do not encourage people to do a cleanse solely for weight loss. Do not. Only because I've worked with programs that were yo-yo diets, and I've observed yo-yo diets my entire career as a life coach, as a personal trainer, as a raw food chef. Yo-yo diets are, I'm going to do this certain thing, I'm going to lose all this weight, and then I'm going to go back to what I was doing. And that's more destructive than continuing in the same pattern, in my opinion, because it sets up patterns of low self-esteem, sends your bodies mixed messages. There's a lot of reasons for that. But what I will say is that if you decide to cleanse, you're going to lose weight. It's inevitable. It's what happens. When you cleanse, you lose weight. But what I encourage people to do is say, I'm going to cleanse, and at the end of this cleanse, my entire lifestyle is going to have a makeover. Like, I'm going to spend time exercising, I'm going to create goals, I'm going to eat better foods, my relationships are going to be better. Every part of your life will get better after a cleanse. And that's what I would suggest to people, is not to focus on the weight loss. With women, sometimes weight can fluctuate 2 to 3 pounds in one day if they're on a period, or just like water retention for some people is an issue. And so if you focus on weight, then you'll end up feeling defeated. What I would focus on is an entire lifestyle makeover. So I'm going to embrace this cleanse, and at the end of the cleanse, I'm going to have a healthier lifestyle. And this is going to be the fast track to get me there. And that's what cleanses can do. They can fast track you to a much healthier lifestyle. Another thing is that I'm going to talk just briefly about intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is really, really, really hard. It's hard for me right now in my life, even. Because what it does is it puts all the decision making on yourself. It's saying, my body's wisdom, my relationship with my body transcends anything that I've ever read, transcends anything any doctor ever told me, any book ever told me. My relationship with my body tells me that. You know what happens? I read in a book that broccoli is really good for you. I mean, I can name the health benefits of broccoli all day long. When I eat raw broccoli, I get bloated, and I don't feel good. But I've read every book in the world that tells me broccoli is fine. And there might be a different period in my life that broccoli doesn't do that to me. But that's just a very small thing, is broccoli. But what I say is, when you do the cleanse, at the end of the cleanse, this is 10 days, you can continue the cleanse. But most people at the end of the 10 days, almost inevitably, they say, I don't want to stop. This is the best I've ever felt. I'm going to continue feeling better. Like, why would I stop eating 100% raw foods? And if eating 100% raw foods is in harmony with your lifestyle, with your children, with your work, with your environment, then I would absolutely encourage you with every bit of my heart to continue doing 100% raw foods. If you say, well, I can get a divorce, or I can eat 100% raw foods, then it's just like, maybe you should make your husband some food, and eat a salad or something. If you have to get a divorce, but you don't understand. I was like, I know, I don't understand, I get it. But yeah, so what I encourage you to do is to use this cleanse to develop your intuition. That means, if you decide not to eat 100% raw, let's say you do some quinoa, or you do like whatever it is that you come off the cleanse with, just really listen to your body. If your body's energy goes down from where you were before and it lowers, that might not be the right choice for you. You might need to eliminate that from your diet. And there's always a healthier option than what you're eating. And that's just the very beginning of the journey of health. And yeah, it's really nice to see you all. And I think I'm going to stop the speech there. And this is really cool because I just came into Vancouver, and like right before I came in, I get to introduce you to someone tonight. And yeah, she's amazing. Her name is Stefanie. I like saying Stefanie because I very rarely get to say Stefanie like that. I usually say Stephanie because she has an accent, and I like to mimic that. But Stefanie and I helped open the first Raw Food Cafe in Austin, Texas. And she is now, and she has helped open numerous raw food schools in Montreal, around Canada, in America as well. She's a wealth of information, and she's going to be helping out, preparing food in the next couple of days. There's a possibility that she'll be staying the entire cleanse and helping and speaking. And it just has been so synchronistic that she was just here, and now she's going to speak. And with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Stefanie.
Well, thank you everyone. This is such a blessing and a spontaneous event to be speaking to all of you in Coquitlam. So I'm originally from Montreal. Maybe I could explain a little bit who I am and why am I here in front of you guys today. Because raw food again and cleansing has changed my life, as it might maybe happen to you or it already happened to you. What happened? I came to BC actually in 2006, that's how it started. Well, it started before a little bit when I was a teenager and I started to be a vegetarian. But I guess on the East Coast we don't have all this information. And nice guests that come and speak. So I was a teenager being a vegetarian, eating pizza with no pepperoni, or onion rings, or poutine with extra vegetables on top. You know that? I don't know if you know poutine, but it's not the healthiest meal. So I was like a fat vegetarian, and I thought it was healthy, you know, because what I thought of vegetarian is like, it's healthy. But I was far from being healthy. I had all these issues with my digestive system and my life in general. But hey, we're young, everything can happen. Then in 2006, I moved over to Vancouver Island, where I lived in Tofino, and where I encounter people that just brought me the information that I needed to receive. I could have been in anywhere in the world. I think once you're opening and once you're ready to receive this type of information, it just comes to you. It's like if you fall in love with a new band, all of a sudden you go to the convenience store and they're playing everywhere you're going around. So that's what happened to me. I did the change of career coming to BC because I wasn't speaking English at the time. And so I was like, oh, I cannot work what I was doing before because it implied a lot of speaking in public. And I decided to be hired in the kitchen. I got really lucky for that because I came from a family of cook, basically. My mom was a cook, my family is gardeners, and I cooked since a very young age. So I got very lucky and I learned all this information about traditional cuisine. But all these people that was bringing me this information about health, about natural ingredients, about how to eat closer to a natural form, closer to a garden. And I was like, oh, it makes sense. That's how I saw my grandma, like, digging carrots and potatoes and then coming in the kitchen and cooking them, and then we're eating all together. So it all became to make sense for me very much. And I was trying everything I learned from conventional gastronomy, cuisine. I will come home, go to the health food store, buy coconut oil instead of Crisco, and reproduce that cake with no gluten, with no eggs in it, or no fat, or no tons of white sugar. And I was like, is there an alternative? Can I use an ingredient that is less transformed, that is pure, and that will not destroy my body that much? And then the body responded. I started to feel different. And at first we tried a lot of diets. I was with my sister at the time, I was lucky. And we tried like one paper. We will go to health specialists and health food store, and everybody we meet that day are like, oh, here's my diet. This is one of the best. And another one's like, mine is the best. So we tried them all and we were like not feeling well at all until I met the people that was utilizing raw food and simply pure based plant food, vegan food. And then I started eating this with my sister and just gave up on doing our diet. And we're like, we'll lose weight next spring, whatever. We'll just eat this. And then that's where it happened. We were starting to do rainbow salad, we call it. We will just put as much as vegetables and like sprouted nuts and a good lemon dressing and tahini. And then we started to have like full of energy. And I was like, do you want to go to bed here? And they're like, no, let's go do kickboxing class. Or let's go run. Let's try to do this like squash sport. Or like, it completely transformed our life. And then I had the chance to move on to Hawaii, where the raw food movement, and there's a lot of raw food speakers that comes from all over the world. Over there, I continue working in gastronomy, and quickly, stuff happened very quickly in Hawaii. After 9 months of being there, I opened my own organic vegetarian restaurant with all local products, and I started to be sharing what I have received so far and what I have experimented in my body. And I was continuing to experiment, and I think that's what I recommend to you the most. Like when you're about to start a cleanse, it's nice to hear say, oh, for me carrots goes well, for you avocado goes well, but what do you want to know is what goes well for you in your own body, basically. So to have the opportunity of trying out different foods and just being in touch, like Paul was saying, to follow your intuition and to listen of your body a little bit more. That's what happened to me in Hawaii. I was trying all these different plants, and I will be like, ooh, when I eat arugula, sorry, I'm confused with languages. Arugula, I feel better. And then when I go eat French fries, for example, I have acidity. But when I was young, I will eat French fries, and I won't notice how it makes me feel. So then my body, my digestive system, I have lots of problems over here that are like problems that the doctors are like, it's okay, you'll have this all your life. We all have this and it's fine. And I thought I would live with this, but then my quality of life changed completely, and I could be intolerant to gluten or having the irritable bowel syndrome and be able to live a fully life and travel the whole world. So this time was really magic for me in Hawaii when I opened my restaurant, and I was just spending every day trying out. Oh well, today I will try sprouting. Now I'm giving classes of sprouting, and I don't know how many people I helped to do this, but when I tell them the first time I did it, I planted one by one, just because I didn't know. But it's how you can learn. So sometimes people are afraid to go into a cleanse or into raw food because it's so new to us. In North America as well, we didn't learn this at school. You know, if you don't drink your little thing of milk at school, you think eventually you will die of bone cancer or something. But this is simply a lack of information and probably a lack of test in our own cells, in our own body. So after that, after I left Hawaii, that's where I met Paul. I went to Texas to help participate in this raw food restaurant, and after that, moved back to Montreal, where I'm from, because I miss my family and stuff. And I was called by two old friends of mine that met in Hawaii and discovered raw food and wanted to bring it to the East Coast and bring it to Montreal, where altogether we started now like 5 raw food restaurants and a youth school with 15 different classes, and it's amazing how just in the past 5 years, I remember when I lived there before and I was that vegetarian eating onion rings, I had no choice to eat onion rings because it doesn't exist such thing as like fresh kale, and now everybody's like, oh, you're a raw food chef. I'm sitting in the plane going to Montreal and they're like, oh yeah, I know raw food, I ate raw lasagna the other day. People now know it, we have done such a good work, and I think the way we did it was very different than what we see sometimes in California, and was different than you have to eat raw food and you have to try it. It was more doing it and enjoying it. And then the people around us were like, oh, this is so good what you're eating, or you look great, you look shining. Can I have a piece? Can I just eat with you today? And I'm like, yeah, you can come. I will share my food with my family. And then I will share it with my friends. And then their friends are sharing with their friends that are sharing with their family. And then I'm sharing with their friends. So slowly it's not like trying to convince people, but it's just to enjoy it in ourselves that started to spread around. So also in 2010 I mentioned, normally I guess with you guys I can say it, but normally when I talk about food, because I'm a chef and I go cook and teach cooking classes a little bit around the world, I don't usually mention I'm a culinary therapist, but now because we're talking about this, I guess I can say it. I just wanted to understand, if I'm a specialist of putting stuff in my mouth, or cooking and choosing my ingredients carefully, I want to know how we're losing it in the mouth, but then it stays in our body, and then it will eventually come out. But what's going to happen there? This is not an information we get at school either, how our digestive system functions, digestive system 101. I think I went to do that colon hydrotherapy certification to understand how our digestive system functions, and the whole time of the class I was like, wow, I can't believe our machine is built like this. It's built to the way we could digest, the way my disease or my problem, my digestive problem, could be related to emotion, could be related to the fact that I was eating my lunch, standing up, doing something like running to the metro station, or the fact that when I was eating I was stressful, or the fact that I was not chewing when I was eating and then I had gas and I thought I had a disease, but then I started chewing my food and it's fine, So it's why I decided to work in clinic a little bit to help people you can have a great life. No matter how old you are, it's never too late. We have this machine that is incredibly built, that at any time, if you take care of it, responding with what's meant for your body, like plants or whole foods, something that is close to the nature, like we're coming from, it will work. So basically, my mission in life now, after all this, is to basically share my passion of cooking, because this is really what I enjoy the most, and health. So share what I've learned, what I've collected about health information with people that are interested with it, but mainly to share the cooking, because raw food people are like, oh, you eat raw food. Poor you must just eat carrots in a bag. Or celery stick. If you're lucky, you have little dips of something raw blended together. No. It's not like that. I feel that eating raw, or I don't know if it's because I'm creative, there is no limit. And I think that's what happens when I teach a cooking class. Normally people leave and they're like, I didn't love how to cook. And they come back months after to me and they're like, thank you, Stefanie. I can't believe now I enjoy running home after work to make myself a meal and make this meal perfect for myself, that I will feel good afterwards because it was built for me, you know? It's such a big responsibility when we go to a restaurant and we're like, here, server or cook that I don't know, that you're behind a wall, here's all my confidence and this big responsibility you have is to feed me. You don't know me, but then I will eat whatever is in my plate, just with a name on the menu. It's a big responsibility. So it's fun to go to the restaurant. It's an entertainment center. I like to go. But there is some moments, I think most of the time, I love to cook at home to take care of my own body. And then your life completely is going to change. This is what happened. After I started working from my heart, I started being able to travel, to leave my house, and to be in shape because I know how to take care of myself better. So the way about cooking, the way that raw food can be fun, it implies like sprouting, fermented foods. This is just like one of my two first passions about raw food. Who has sprouted here before? Don't know if you could raise your hand. Yeah. It's like having babies. I guess. I never had babies yet, but I'm sure it won't be like this. Like, every 10 days the wheatgrass grow and I'm like, wow! Like I made them, they're so fresh, they are alive. You know when you see the sunflower sprout, do this, like one leaf opens and the shell falls on the ground and it's like, wow, like growing up. And then you put all this vital energy into your body and then you feel it. Fermented foods is the same. You ferment a cabbage, for example, and then you transform completely its nutritional values into another food that has 300 more times vitamin C and has nutrients that appear that wasn't there in the natural raw vegetable before. And this could be alive again and feed you. And I think I would like to mention the difference with raw food and living foods. As Paul as well, like right now, I don't eat completely 100% raw, and people meet me sometimes because I'm a raw food chef for so many years, and they say, oh, you must eat just raw and carrot sticks and stuff. But no, like the difference for me in my head and my heart between raw food and living food, I will say mostly that I eat living food. It's a food that will make me alive. If today I really had a big day or I had anxiety and I need grounding and I will cook quinoa at home with like coconut oil and some spices, or I will make a butternut squash soup. If this is the food that will make me alive, that will ground me and will take care of me, this will be living food for me. And not just, oh, it's not dead, it's not cooked, it's raw. Like, we want something that has a more vital energy. So if it's my mom that is like, I made you a muffin, like a gluten-free muffin, I did it on purpose for you, and I'm like, it's cooked over 41 degrees Celsius, I don't want it. It's for sure it's not going to give me anything, but if I look at her smile and take all this stuff, put it in a muffin, and then eat the muffin, I will probably be fed. You know when we say, like, when you meet someone, your soulmate, and you cannot eat for, like, days or weeks? Is that really what happened? You know that you're like, in French we say vivre d'amour et d'eau fraîche, from love and fresh water. Ah, can we live on fresh water at home? Yes, we can, and we have like full-on energy, but we didn't eat anything. It's because we received that love. So let's judge the food in this way. Like, we're all at a different stage of our life. So there's some days where I want to eat 100% raw food and fresh stuff, but there's a day that I would like to eat maybe 60% of raw stuff and 40% of cooked things. So just knowing this difference and feeding what your body really needs will be great. So I was supposed to leave Sunday night because I've been traveling for 7 months around the world teaching, and I was looking forward to go home in Montreal. But you guys seem really interesting, and you might make me change my mind so I can stay with you for the whole cleanse and participate like the days that we receive you at the cleanse, like the Saturday, Sunday, the Wednesday night, and the other Saturday, Sunday. We're planning on doing 2 meals per day, and Paul's like, cook. Let's be creative. We can change the menu to do what you like. And I've been traveling so much that I didn't have my kitchen, my knife, or anything. I didn't have my hands in the food. Otherwise, like when I was in the class and stuff, but in between, and I miss cooking. So I might like to stay with you guys if you want to participate in this cleanse. And you have a question?
Well, I was going to say, we've got enough people here. I think we can supply you with what you need. Yeah. I think you'd have a great time. You should stay.
Yeah.
One of the most important parts of cleansing is water.
Yeah.
You will save a lot of money if you drink a gallon and a half of water per day. You'll feel 1,000 times better. Consume a lot of water. When you wake up in the morning, 2 glasses of lemon water flushes your liver. You'll be set for the rest of the day if you start your day with 2 glasses of lemon water and just stay hydrated all day long. I've made the mistake many times of just eating lots of fruit or eating lots of salads, and again, sometimes you're tired. Why am I tired? It's like, I haven't drank water in 4 hours, that's why. It's the simplest thing I've written down, I just forgot to mention it. But this time, Dr. Lee, do you have anything? You want to just open up to questions? Anybody have any questions or answers for either one of us? Not answers, but questions.
Hold it down so it's green light.
Oh. Hello?
Hello?
Maybe if you're far, I can go and...
Yes.
You mentioned master cleanse. That's just water, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And how long would you do that one for? Do you recommend?
I personally did that one for 14 days. I think there was a good first cleanse for me. I think that doing fresh fruits and vegetables, living juices and smoothies is a healthier cleanse. But the master cleanse is a very simple, and it takes all the thought out of it. You just make a gallon of it in the morning. And I think it's a better solution than not doing a cleanse at all. But I think there are healthier cleanses that are available. But if you wanted to do that, then yeah, I'd support you fully to work with your lifestyle. Yes, sir.
Is tap water okay, or does it got to be like bottled water for lemon?
At least in BC.
There's a glacier. It's in Antarctica. We need the fresh. It's dripping. We go to it. I'm kidding.
I don't know about coconut.
Yeah, go ahead. She knows more about the water here. I would suggest alkaline water if you can. Fresh spring water is best, but as the saying, do the best that you can. Yeah, I feel amazing drinking the water here. I'm in Texas. It's like.
It will depend on the city. Like, for example, in Montreal, you don't cleanse and drinking that. I don't even give my cat the tap water. Like, even the shower, I will see, like, I travel everywhere and I go back to Montreal, and if I stay, like, somewhere that doesn't have, like, a shower filter, my skin is dry, my hair is dry. So basically, when you drink water, you want to drink, like, a great quality of water. So that if you could find, like, the purest possible, if you could have a good filter at home and make sure you have a great source, or here in BC, you guys have a car? Just take a big bottle and run to the spring, the closest, and just fill up, and then you'll recharge. You will see how much you will drink more water, the taste of it. It will simply be natural. So that's important. That's good to mention.